We're turning 9 years old next month, in just a couple weeks. And one of the many reasons why I love doing this show is because we get to talk pop culture, we get to talk sports, and we get to talk life. We talk about the real important things in life, which sometimes can be, your sports teams, and it can be what movies coming out or what TV shows coming out, which makes our next guest truly one of our favorites and perfect guests. He's come on the show talking about his projects, but also about his memoir and now a children's book called Just Because. The great Matthew McConaughey back here on the program. How are you, sir?
Be good, Rich. Good morning. How you doing, bud?
I'm great. Tell me about this book. Why? What do you got for me here? Just because.
So you're a parent. I'm a parent.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a parent, you start seeing the whole world through the lens of like your dependents, your kids. What's the best decision to make now that I got kids, for me, for them, for our family. I guess I dream in that same lens too, because this came to me one night in sort of a Bob Dylan ditty. I had this little dream going, and just because they threw the dart doesn't mean that it stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you got skills don't mean there is no luck. Dun, dun, dun. So I woke up, I kept that rhythm in my head, I wrote it down, and that's what's in this book, Just Because. It's about teaching kids that there's contradictions in life. You can be nervous and excited at the same time. That's a good deal. You can bogey today and birdie tomorrow and make up for it. And it's just letting kids know a little bit about the poetry of life.
My wife and I, we called that nervous-sided in our household, Matthew.
That's nerve-sided. Yes.
That's the term that our children use, and we use with them, nervous-sided.
Yay.
Because that is it. Yeah. That is, you can be.
Both happen at the same time. And I think kids start to think, oh, I should only feel one way or the other. And it's like, no, you got both those feelings. And that happens a lot through life. And I think it's a properly lenient book for our kids and for ourselves. I think it's reminded me and a lot of adults of stuff that we were taught when we were younger that maybe we forgot along the way.
Well, how old are your kids, Matthew?
I've got 10, 13, 15.
Okay, so you're in it. I've got those are the ages too. My two oldest boys are 15 and 13, or about to be 13, okay. And my daughter is 10. And what I'm seeing, and I'm wondering if you're seeing it too, is maybe it was COVID or whatever, but these kids don't know how to communicate with each other face to face with words anymore. That they're talking, on their phones. They're Snapchatting. They're doing all sorts of stuff that. Being able to actually tell people how you feel or what you're doing, they're not really expert at that. I wonder what you're seeing.
No, Matthew. They're not. I think a lot of times they'd rather be communicating with each other on a device, even if you're just in the other room.
Yeah, I've seen that, yes.
I mean, we practice a pretty good ritual. We still have the dinner table each night where there's obviously no devices. Everyone's got to sit down. Tell us a little something about your day. Give me a rose. Give me a thorn. Give me something that made you laugh. Give me something you're thankful for. And when they have been, more secluded, whether from COVID or whatever, their social skills did get a little rusty. Hell, mine got rusty.
Yeah.
When I went back and re-engaged, I noticed I was socially rusty. But they were able to rely on this awesome device of communication. But then when they re-engage back in life to go get on the front line, go shake his hand, go look her in the eye, go do it in person. They were like, what? That sounds like a magic trick now. How do I pull that off? It's like, well, that's how it's really done still.
Right. And that's why it's important to actually have a book, put out there and put it together like what you did. New York Times bestseller, #1 right now, called Just Because. What are some of the messages that you have in there that you'd like to sort of sprinkle here, Matthew?
So here's some that are sort of sports related. All right.
Okay.
We're a couple of the couple. Just because I'm in the race doesn't mean I'm fully ready. Just because you're shaking doesn't mean that you're not steady. Just because you follow doesn't mean you're not a leader. And just because I keep winning doesn't mean that I'm a cheater. Those last two I love to talk to my kids and people about. We always think, oh, if I'm going to be a leader, I got to be in front. Well, not if you don't know where you're going. You're a better leader if you find somebody and follow somebody that does know where they're going in that particular journey. And just because I keep winning doesn't mean I'm a cheater. We have a tendency when we see greatness to go, something must be up. Somebody must be hood scoop. There must be a Vegas foul in here. Something must be awry. And instead of that, and we call things unbelievable instead of awesome.
Right.
And I think we need to remind ourselves that, no, some people just have an innate ability and some people just work harder and are better at things because they're great at it. And let's applaud that and appreciate that.
Matthew McConaughey, author of Just Because, again, where all books can be acquired, a children's picture book that is delightful and is great for all families and all ages, Just Because, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Where does beating Alabama rank from a couple weeks ago for you?
For this season, right now, it's at the top. I mean, look, that's a stepping stone, a big stepping stone about where we're headed.
Mm-hmm.
To go down there in their house, and I was there, as you saw, it was awesome. And to feel in that second and third quarter and even early fourth, have we seen this script before? It kind of felt like here, Bama gets the ball last and kicks a field goal to win by one. And then we just unleashed the floodgates and the levee broke and we loosened up and poured it on. Similar but different to what we did last week against Wyoming, which, we're going to have to turn it on quicker than in the fourth quarter, obviously, to make it through the gamut of the games we got coming up. And, it wasn't national championship, obviously. It's just beating Alabama. And how quickly we get past going, yep, that's where we're supposed to be. That's what we were supposed to do. There's this question of when is Texas back? And I was always like, look, man, we're back when we're back. We won't have to advertise. We won't have to ask permission. It'll be obvious. The world will say Texas is back, and we will humbly agree.
Well, it's also a nice little calling card to leave for your entry to the actual conference in which Alabama plays and where Texas is coming, right, Matthew?
Perfect entree. Had us over for a little dinner to see if they want to, before we come over and move in the house. It was awesome.
Right. And then so being at the game, what's your favorite story from that one? Where you were, sideline, anything? You got something?
Well,
fan interaction?
Sideline, and then I get down in the end zone over there with McAfee and the guys,
yep.
And that's right when Quinn Ewers just unleashed this beautiful moon ball. That I was outside, I was in the back of the end zone, right, and I looked at it and I thought it was going to be over my head, and in X in full stride, just it was exceptional. It was just perfect. It was untouchable, and the only person who could catch it is the one that did. And there was not another couple of feet left in the end zone to catch it.
Right.
So to be right there was pretty special.
Yeah.
After the game,
yes.
Fans in Alabama were great. They were good, rowdy. It's one of the things I like about the SEC, the most rabid fans probably in all of college football. But they love, they like, when I'm giving them this, they loved it. It's like,
they did.
Give us more. Well, they didn't like it, but they loved that I'm doing it. They were like, yes, come on. Right. I think the SEC is one of the greatest forms of tribalism we have. Healthiest forms of tribalism we got.
Right, and you're heading there now. So, is there any truth, Matthew McConaughey, that Texas is leaving the Big 12 because you knew Deion was coming? Is there any truth?
Story.
What do you think?
Awesome is his phenomenal story right now.
Right.
Wow. What's the latest? What's happened in the last 12 hours?
I know. You got to keep checking back in, right? You got to keep.
Did the Oregon water boy say something?
No, I think everyone in the state of Oregon, maybe by order of the governor, was told to zip it. Exactly. Nobody is allowed to say a word about Deion or any of his family or any apparel, nothing.
No. Don't do that.
He's
about 1,000% right now with that.
But that was amazing, right? I mean, this has been an amazing run that we're seeing right now with Prime, right?
Incredible. I mean, the way he's levitating, obviously, those young men's minds, because they didn't. Man, he cleaned house. Weren't they picked to come in at the bottom of the barrel?
Of course.
And talk about turnarounds. And again, we're going to see they got a major competition, a step up this weekend. Mm-hmm. And can you sustain it for a year? But irregardless, so far it is incredible to go into Fort Worth out of the gate and then follow it up with the two games they've had. Incredible.
You ever cross paths with him? with Deion?
I have. We've reached out and spoken a little bit about on text. We look forward to getting a high five and amen together.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I worked with him for a decade and a half, and just seeing him, what he's doing now, he is as genuine as he's always been. I mean, what you see is what you get. I mean, and I don't know if this would be part of your book just because, but he ranks his children in a ranking on his Instagram account, Matthew. I don't think that's in your.
What's he rank them on? This is so good.
He ranks. He's got 5 of them, and he ranks them 1 through 5 openly on Instagram based on what they're doing or where they're. He said he cannot put Shador number 1 right now because he's afraid Shador might leave him by the end of the year. Yeah. That's the way he's working. That's not in your book.
Number 5.
It's Shiloh. It's been Shiloh, and he's the one who's balling.
Shiloh's running in the nickel slot. And wait a minute. So does he update the ratings through the week or the month of the year?
It's every week, it appears, is what he's doing. Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. And his son, he refers to as Bucky as number 1 because he's doing all of his social media. And they are killing that. They are absolutely killing that game right now.
Absolutely.
All right. And so before I let you go, are you locked in on the Commanders as well? Are you locked?
Commanders. Who's the only NFL owner that's undefeated? Come on. Hey, it looks like now, and I hope this continues.
Yes.
We may be making the transition from being a tough out to being like, I think we can win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It feels like that's what the first 2 weeks felt like. Let's hope we maintain that. Hal has his moments where he's looking good in spurts. Let's see. I like how he started.
Yeah, I know that. Right. And Bieniemy is dialing up the plays, and Rivera is making it work and making it cash. Defense. Chase Young looked like the old Chase Young this past week.
Nice
Matthew.
to see. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right.
Moving from a tough out to, hey, we expect to win.
Yeah. And Magic Johnson's now in the ownership suite along with the whole group of people. So things are looking up. Okay.
Hail.
Okay. Fantastic. Very good. All right. Well, look, I appreciate the time, Matthew. You're the man. Congrats on your book being a bestseller and everything.
Appreciate it. You got kids out there, any dads out there, check it out. It's a fun one to read with your kids. It's a good conversation starter too before they go to bed. It'll get you going.
I'm going to do that this very week with them, sir, because it seems like your parenting skills and what we're doing in our house, we're kind of locked in on that. So appreciate it.
Right. Appreciate it, bud. Thanks for having me on, as always, Rich.
Always. You always have a place here. That's Matthew McConaughey, author of Just Because, the #1 bestseller on the New York Times list right here. Get wherever your books are sold, as Texas Longhorns and Commanders are just crushing it right now. I guess a book, Commanders, Longhorns is all right. Look
at you.
See how I work it?
Look at you, Rich.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.